He tried to make it a workshop, then discovered the ship's hidden registry. Growing up on the mining colonies of Epsilon 9, he had learned to repair engines, rewire circuits, and even patch together broken drones with nothing more than scraps and old manuals. Life had taught him to be resourceful. But now, in the bustling starport of Ceres Prime, resourcefulness alone would not be enough. The port was a maze of docking bays, rusting ships, and scavengers looking for anything they could sell. Space was full of abandoned vessels, relics of wars long past, and contracts unfulfilled. Most humans had moved on to the newer, faster colonies, leaving behind broken dreams and old technology. Elias wandered through the half-lit corridors of Dock 17, scanning the shadows for work. The pay was meager, but a few credits were better than nothing. It was in one of these forgotten bays that Elias spotted it, a massive ship, shrouded in dust and cobweb-like wires, sitting silently like a giant predator waiting to wake. Its hull was scratched and dented, with parts of the metal peeling like old paint. Signs of alien origin were clear: smooth, curved lines, panels that didn't follow human design, and a strange, muted glow from beneath the cracks. A faded sign declared it was scheduled for scrap. Elias' heart raced. He had seen old ships before, but never one of this size and quality. Even broken, it seemed almost alive. The thought struck him: if he could repair it, he could make it his workshop, a place big enough to house any project, a place where no one would bother him. The auction for the ship was slow and quiet. Only a handful of scavengers appeared, scratching at the hull and murmuring about its uselessness. Elias bid cautiously, careful not to raise too much attention. When the gavel fell, it was his. 7 credits, a laughably small price for a vessel of this size. He could barely contain his excitement as he signed the papers. This ship was his, and he had plans. Stepping aboard was like entering another world. The interior was dark, but Elias' portable lamp revealed vast halls and corridors stretching farther than he could see. Panels lined the walls, covered in symbols and lights he did not understand. The air smelled metallic and old, tinged with the faint scent of ozone. Everywhere he looked, he saw possibilities: rooms that could be converted into workshops, storage areas, and even living quarters if he needed them. Elias wasted no time. He began by inspecting the power systems. The main reactors were dead, but some auxiliary systems still glimmered faintly. Carefully, he began repairing conduits and connecting what he could. Sparks flew, circuits hummed, and for a moment the ship seemed to breathe. It was a small victory, but enough to keep his hope alive. Days passed. Elias worked tirelessly, patching damaged panels, clearing debris, and learning the rhythms of the ship. At first, it resisted him. Strange security locks would activate without warning, and automated turrets misfired, forcing him to duck for cover. Some doors would open and close unpredictably, and holographic screens would flash cryptic alien text. But Elias was patient. Humans were survivors. He studied the systems, noted patterns, and adapted. Slowly, the ship responded. During one of his explorations, Elias stumbled upon a room unlike the others. It was small, circular, and lined with screens that were all dark. In the center sat a pedestal with a smooth console, entirely untouched by dust. When he touched it, he felt a hum, a tiny vibration under his fingers, almost as if the ship itself was testing him. Curiosity ignited, he spent hours studying the pedestal. The symbols were alien, yes, but there was something familiar about their logic. Elias began pressing sequences, trying combinations, hoping to trigger a response without causing damage. At first, nothing happened. Then the screens flickered to life, displaying strange maps and codes. A faint holographic light shimmered in the air, and Elias could feel a pulse, like the heartbeat of the vessel itself. Night after night, he returned to that console, trying to understand it. Sometimes it would respond to his touch, other times it would remain silent. He started recording every symbol, every pattern, noting anything that seemed repeatable. Elias had no idea what this ship had been, who had built it, or why it had been abandoned, but he felt drawn to it, as if the ship wanted him to find something. Outside, life continued. Other scavengers would occasionally sneak in, hoping to claim scraps or steal his work. Elias was ready for them, setting traps and rerouting power to defensive systems he had managed to reactivate. A few times, confrontations were tense. Elias was quick, clever, and unafraid to use the ship's automated systems to protect himself. It became clear. The ship was more than just a derelict. It was a fortress, and he was its steward. One evening, while tracing a series of conduits to an isolated chamber deep in the lower decks, Elias found a hatch he had not seen before. It was small, almost hidden behind a row of damaged panels. With a bit of effort, he pried it open and descended into a dark room. Here, the air was colder, heavier, almost sacred. In the center was a console that glowed faintly, untouched by time. He approached cautiously. When his hand brushed the surface, the console activated. Holographic screens floated in the air, displaying a registration record in symbols he had never seen. At first, it looked like gibberish. But as he stared, his mind, trained in pattern recognition and quick logic, began to make sense of it. This was no ordinary ship. This was a registry, a log of some sort, hidden away deliberately. Elias felt his pulse quicken. Lines of code, coordinates, and strange identifiers floated before him. He realized the registry included the ship's name, purpose, and even its missions, information lost to time. His mind raced. What had this ship done? Who had it belonged to? And why was it abandoned here, waiting for him? The more he explored, the more anomalies he found. Certain rooms responded to his presence, doors opening without touch, systems powering up on their own. He could almost hear a whisper of the ship's intelligence, guiding him toward something hidden, something important. Elias realized that the ship was not just a vessel, it was a guardian, a keeper of secrets that the galaxy had long forgotten. The excitement was tempered by caution. If other humans or alien scavengers discovered what he had found, they would try to take it by force. Elias understood that knowledge itself could be dangerous, yet he could not resist. He spent hours documenting everything, connecting systems and testing responses. Every success fueled his curiosity, and every failure taught him more. One night, while Elias was recalibrating the energy conduits to stabilize the ship's auxiliary power, he noticed a hidden compartment opening automatically. Inside was a small data core, untouched by dust. With trembling hands, he connected it to a portable reader. Holographic symbols rose into the air, more complex than anything he had seen. And then, suddenly, the registry revealed its most shocking secret. The ship had a classified identity, a mission designation, and a set of coordinates pointing to places Elias had only dreamed of reaching. Elias sat back, staring at the glowing holograms. His simple idea of making a workshop had transformed into something unimaginable. The ship he had bought for 7 credits was not just a derelict, it was a relic of galactic history, holding secrets that could change everything. A thought struck him. If humans could master this technology, even partially, they could achieve things no one else in the galaxy had. The registry contained knowledge, guidance, and warnings, waiting for someone capable enough to understand it. And now, somehow, the ship had chosen him. For the first time since stepping aboard, Elias felt something more than excitement. He felt a purpose. This was bigger than a workshop, bigger than survival. Somewhere deep within the ship, hidden beneath panels, conduits, and alien codes, lay a path that could lead him, and perhaps all of humanity, into the wider galaxy in a way no one had imagined. He glanced around the shadowy bay, thinking of the vast corridors and the silent hum of dormant engines. The ship had waited long for someone who could understand it. And now, Elias Wren was ready. Outside, the stars shone cold and distant, but inside, a new adventure was beginning, one that would take him far beyond any scrapyard, beyond the familiar corridors of Ceres Prime, and into the heart of secrets that had been hidden for centuries. Elias leaned back against the console, the glow of the registry reflecting in his eyes. Tomorrow, he would start exploring deeper. He would unlock more systems, more rooms, more of the story hidden within the ship. And he knew, with a certainty that thrilled and terrified him, that this was only the beginning. The workshop he had imagined was gone. In its place stood a vessel that held a history, a mission, and a destiny. And somehow, against all odds, a human had become its master. Elias Wren had not slept much since discovering the ship's hidden registry. The knowledge he had stumbled upon filled his mind with questions he could not yet answer. The ship was more than a workshop. It was a mystery, a puzzle left behind by a civilization far older and more advanced than humans. Every night he wandered its corridors, feeling the hum of dormant power beneath the walls, as if the ship itself were alive, waiting for him to understand. He had repaired the auxiliary power systems enough to light the hallways and activate some of the consoles. But the ship's main systems were still silent, locked away by alien codes he barely understood. Every panel he touched seemed to test him. Sometimes the lights flickered. Other times, holographic maps would rise and vanish before he could comprehend them. Still, he persisted. Elias knew one thing: human intuition was different. Aliens had designed the ship to work for their logic, their patterns, and their methods. But humans could improvise, and Elias intended to improvise his way into the ship's secrets. One day, while cleaning debris in a lower deck, he stumbled across a corridor he had not seen before. It was narrow and dimly lit, with panels that emitted a faint green glow. Following it, he found a chamber dominated by a spherical object hovering above the floor. The sphere was made of a dark, reflective material, inscribed with tiny, rotating symbols. When he approached, it responded, spinning faster, lights tracing intricate paths across its surface. "Hello," Elias said, almost laughing at himself. "I don't know if you understand me." To his surprise, the sphere responded. A voice, soft and metallic, echoed in his mind. "I have been waiting. You are recognized." Elias stumbled back. A voice from the ship itself. He had read stories about AI cores but never one this advanced. The sphere, he realized, was the ship's core intelligence. It had been dormant, waiting for someone capable of interfacing with it. "My name is Elias Wren," he said cautiously. I want to understand this ship." The AI paused. "Recognition complete. Your intent is consistent. Access granted to auxiliary modules. Main functions remain restricted." Elias grinned. It was a small victory, but enough to keep his excitement alive. Over the next few weeks, he focused on building trust with the AI. He carefully repaired its interface, connecting wires, cleaning corrosion, and gradually restoring communication pathways. Each success brought a new revelation. The AI began revealing fragments of the ship's history: missions to protect colonies, exploratory voyages into unknown star systems, and encounters with civilizations that humans had never imagined. One evening, Elias discovered something remarkable. By rerouting power from the auxiliary systems, he could project holographic simulations. Scenes of the past played out before him: alien fleets maneuvering across star systems, strange energy weapons firing in brilliant arcs, and a massive cosmic threat approaching distant planets. The ship had been built as a guardian, a protector of civilizations too weak to defend themselves. Elias' heart pounded. Humans had always been considered primitive by alien standards, yet here he was, interacting with technology designed for beings far older and more advanced. The thought thrilled him, filled him with pride. Perhaps humans could accomplish more than anyone had believed, but curiosity came with danger. Unknown to Elias, His activities had triggered sensors that sent faint signals into space. Alien factions, long dormant, began noticing activity. They did not know what Elias had found, but they knew something powerful had awakened. If word reached them fully, the ship and Elias would be targeted. Elias was unaware of this. He continued exploring, each discovery more astonishing than the last. In one chamber, he found a storage area filled with alien tools and devices. Most were incomprehensible at first, but he began experimenting, learning how to repurpose them with his human ingenuity. A tool for bending energy fields became a portable welder. A small hovering device turned into a drone he could control. His creativity allowed him to adapt alien technology in ways the original designers had never intended. The AI seemed to approve. Adaptation, efficient. Ingenuity exceeds parameters. Elias laughed. It was the first time he truly felt part of something bigger. He was no longer just a scavenger, no longer just a man trying to survive in a forgotten corner of the galaxy. He was a pioneer, a human capable of understanding and improving technology that even aliens had found difficult. One night, while following a series of energy conduits, Elias discovered a heavily secured chamber labeled Command Registry. The door was massive, made of a black alloy that shimmered faintly. He examined the locking mechanism, dozens of layered security protocols, most of which were alien in design. Humans could never have opened it using brute force, but Elias had learned patience, observation, and improvisation. He spent hours tracing the power flow, rerouting circuits, and carefully bypassing protocols without triggering alarms. Finally, with a faint hiss, the door opened. Inside was a small room dominated by a console and a single holographic map. The AI spoke, its voice calm but urgent. Command Registry active. Access will reveal full mission data. Elias hesitated. His hands hovered over the controls. Activating this could make him a target, he knew that much. But he also knew that he could not turn back. Humans were defined by courage, by the willingness to take risks when others hesitated. He pressed the final panel. The hologram expanded. Coordinates appeared, marking lost human colonies, forgotten research stations, and alien outposts abandoned for centuries. Detailed logs described technologies humans had never encountered. Energy shields capable of deflecting starship weapons, propulsion systems far beyond anything currently in use, and tactical simulations for defending planets from overwhelming threats. Elias stared in awe. The ship was more than a relic. It was a treasure trove of knowledge, a lifeline for humanity if anyone was clever enough to understand it. And now, that responsibility fell on him. The weeks that followed were intense. Elias dedicated himself entirely to decoding the registry. He mapped each coordinate, analyzed alien systems, and tested theories. Every success revealed more of the ship's secrets. He discovered hidden compartments, each containing more advanced technology, energy packs, alien drones, and even small weapon systems that had long been deactivated. With careful experimentation, he learned to control them, always mindful of safety. Through it all, Elias noticed something remarkable. The ship seemed to respond to his decisions. Doors opened where he needed them, systems powered up as if recognizing his intent, and the AI offered subtle guidance without giving direct answers. It was almost as if the ship trusted him. Yet danger was never far. One day, as Elias explored a newly accessible deck, he detected a ship approaching. Sensors had been offline until now, but the AI had begun monitoring the perimeter. The vessel was small, sleek, and alien, likely a scavenger or a patrol investigating the derelict. Elias quickly rerouted auxiliary power to defensive systems, activating small automated turrets he had repaired. The approaching ship slowed, scanning for threats. Then, recognizing the active systems, it veered away, likely deciding the derelict was too dangerous to approach. Elias exhaled. Humans may not have been the strongest species, but cleverness, intuition, and courage could turn the tide. The incident reinforced his belief. Humans had an edge that even the most advanced civilizations sometimes underestimated. Over time, Elias formed a rhythm. Days were spent repairing, decoding, and experimenting. Nights were for exploring holographic histories projected by the ship, alien civilizations, past conflicts, and glimpses of cosmic dangers. Each session revealed more about the universe and more about the potential humans held. The AI grew more communicative, though always measured. You exhibit qualities unexpected: creativity, intuition, persistence. You may be suitable to complete mission objectives. Elias smiled. Mission objectives. The words thrilled him. This was no longer a workshop project. He was part of something larger, something that humans had been excluded from for centuries. And now, perhaps, humans could reclaim their place among the stars, not by brute force, but by ingenuity and courage. But the registry held one final mystery. Buried beneath layers of data was a set of coordinates leading to a region of space no human had explored. Warnings were embedded in alien code: dangerous, unknown, potentially catastrophic. Yet, Elias felt drawn to it. Curiosity had always been his guiding principle. If the ship had led him this far, perhaps the next step was to follow its direction. He prepared carefully, making sure the ship was fully operational within the limits he understood. He tested propulsion, energy systems, and navigation protocols. Each success reinforced his belief. He was ready. Humans could rise to challenges that others deemed impossible. His ingenuity had carried him this far, and he trusted it would guide him further. As Elias studied the final holographic map, he realized something extraordinary. The ship was not just a guardian, it was a teacher, a vessel designed to test and reward the worthy. Humans, despite being considered weak and primitive by alien civilizations, could rise to greatness if they combined creativity, courage, and patience. For the first time, Elias felt truly connected to something larger than himself. He was no longer a lone scavenger in a forgotten corner of the galaxy. He was a human capable of mastering a ship that held secrets long hidden from the stars. The journey ahead would be dangerous, full of unknowns and perhaps even deadly. Yet he could not resist. The ship had chosen him, and he was ready to answer. Night fell over Ceres Prime, casting long shadows through the abandoned dock. Elias sat in the control room, surrounded by glowing holograms, alien consoles, and the quiet hum of a vessel awakening from centuries of silence. He thought of the humans scattered across lost colonies, the secrets waiting to be reclaimed, and the challenges ahead. Somewhere deep within, the AI spoke again, softer this time. The path forward is uncertain. Threats exist. Only the worthy will endure. Elias nodded. Worthy. Humans had survived against impossible odds before. He believed they could do it again. And with this ship, this gift of knowledge and power, he would prove it. Tomorrow, he would begin preparations for the first voyage to the unknown region marked in the registry. But tonight, he allowed himself a moment to marvel at what he had accomplished. A human had unlocked a ship that even aliens had underestimated. A human had discovered secrets lost to time. And soon, a human would navigate the stars in ways the galaxy had never imagined. The adventure had only just begun. Elias Wren had spent weeks preparing. The derelict ship, once a lifeless hulk hidden in a dusty corner of Ceres Prime, now hummed with cautious life. Lights glowed along corridors, power conduits pulsed under the hull, and the AI core, once silent and cryptic, now offered guidance without hesitation. The vessel responded to him, not just as a pilot, but as a partner. He stood in the main control chamber, gazing at the holographic map that projected the coordinates of lost human colonies and alien outposts. His heart raced. The registry had led him to this moment. Beyond this dock, Beyond the familiar stars of Ceres Prime lay the unknown, a region of space long abandoned, full of secrets, danger, and opportunity. Humans had never ventured here before. Elias felt a mixture of excitement and trepidation. The ship was massive, more advanced than anything humans had ever seen, and yet he understood enough to control it. It was a challenge, yes, but one he had been preparing for his entire life. Resourcefulness, patience, and curiosity, these were human strengths. And now he would prove it. He activated the main propulsion system. The ship groaned as ancient engines powered up, emitting a deep, vibrating hum that resonated through the hull. Lights flared across the bridge, illuminating panels he had only begun to decipher. The AI spoke, its voice calm but firm. Main systems online, navigation ready, destination coordinates confirmed. Elias took a deep breath. Let's go. The ship shuddered as it lifted from the dock, slowly at first, then faster, until the stars stretched into long trails of light. Outside, the void of space seemed endless, dark, and indifferent. Inside, however, Elias felt a thrill he had never known. He was a human at the helm of a vessel that had once protected civilizations, and now he alone controlled it. Days passed as he navigated through uncharted space. The ship's systems offered guidance, but Elias had to improvise constantly. Alien interfaces required creative solutions. Energy conduits demanded careful balancing. Each success strengthened his bond with the vessel. The AI, once distant and cautious, now seemed almost alive in its trust of him. During one long shift, Elias detected an anomaly. A faint signal appeared on the sensors, a pulse of energy unlike anything human-made. He followed it cautiously, mapping its trajectory. As he approached, the source became clear. A small fleet of alien drones, ancient but functional, appeared to be guarding something. Elias realized that he had crossed into territory that the galaxy had long forgotten. The AI responded immediately. Drones detect intrusion, defensive systems inactive, advisory, engage or avoid. Elias studied the situation. These drones were advanced, far superior in technology to anything humans could field, yet predictable. They followed strict routines, their sensors limited. Using the ship's auxiliary systems, he created a small holographic projection of himself in another part of the corridor, confusing the drone's detection. Then, using an improvised energy pulse, he disabled their sensors temporarily. One by one, they powered down, harmlessly floating in space. It was a small victory, but a powerful one. Human ingenuity had once again turned the tide. Where brute force failed, creativity and observation succeeded. Elias smiled. This was the essence of being human, cleverness and adaptability in the face of impossible odds. The moment of triumph was short-lived. As he continued toward the coordinates in the registry, a larger threat appeared. A massive alien vessel, sleek and predatory, approached at high speed. Its hull shimmered with energy fields, and weapons glowed with lethal intent. It was clear. This ship was a sentinel, perhaps tasked with eliminating any who attempted to access the secrets hidden in this sector. Elias' pulse quickened. He could have turned back, returned to Ceres Prime, and abandoned the mission. But the Registry had led him here, and the AI's subtle guidance suggested he was ready. He adjusted the ship's energy fields, rerouted power to defensive systems, and prepared for what might be a battle unlike anything he had imagined. The alien vessel fired first. Brilliant streaks of energy raced toward Elias' ship, but human improvisation proved decisive. He manipulated the ship's energy matrix to create reflective shields, bouncing the attacks harmlessly into space. The alien vessel adjusted, targeting different angles, but Elias had anticipated their patterns. Using the ship's auxiliary systems, he created decoy projections, confusing their sensors. Hours passed in tense maneuvers. Elias' hands flew over controls. improvising sequences that no alien engineer would have thought to use. Each move was instinctive, informed by human creativity and intuition. And then, finally, the alien vessel retreated, recognizing that it could not predict or outmatch the unpredictable human at the helm. Elias exhaled, his hands trembling. He had survived. More than that, he had won. A human had outsmarted alien technology designed for centuries, proving that ingenuity and courage could overcome even overwhelming odds. With the immediate danger gone, Elias focused on the registry again. The coordinates led to a hidden system, a cluster of planets and stations that had been abandoned for centuries. As he approached, he realized the significance. These were human colonies that had been lost, their knowledge scattered and forgotten. This was not just exploration, it was reclamation. Humanity had a chance to rediscover itself. The AI guided him to a planetary outpost. Dust and debris covered the once bustling station, yet the systems were salvageable. Elias carefully docked, activating the AI to scan for life signs. There were none, but the station contained logs, archives, and technology caches. He spent hours decoding alien storage units, extracting information, and carefully cataloging it. Among the discoveries were propulsion schematics far beyond current human technology, energy generation systems that could power entire cities, and medical databases that could save millions. Elias realized that the registry was more than a map. It was a legacy, a blueprint for humanity's rise in the galaxy. He thought of the humans he had left behind, scattered across distant colonies, unaware of the technology and knowledge waiting to be reclaimed. A sense of purpose filled him. The ship, the registry, the AI, all had chosen him for a reason. Humans could rise not through sheer force, but through creativity, courage, and persistence. Yet, Elias knew the journey was far from over. The galaxy was full of civilizations that would not welcome a rising human presence. Some would see the ship as a threat. Others would covet the technology he now controlled. Preparation was key. He would need allies, strategies, and ingenuity to navigate what lay ahead. Returning to the ship, Elias felt a sense of awe. The derelict vessel that had been nothing more than a rusting hulk was now alive, powerful, and responsive. He had awakened it, not by following instructions, but by understanding, adapting, and improvising. Human ingenuity had proven itself worthy of the ship's secrets. As he charted a course for the next set of coordinates, the AI spoke. Further threats will be encountered. Probability of success is uncertain. Your ingenuity will be the deciding factor. Elias nodded. He understood. Success would not come from brute force, not from speed, not from numbers. It would come from thought, creativity, and courage, human qualities that no alien could fully predict or control. The next system approached, filled with ruins, floating stations, and signs of ancient civilizations. Elias prepared carefully, testing the ship systems, running simulations, and improvising solutions for problems no human had faced before. Every step of the journey reinforced one truth: humans were underestimated, yet capable of greatness. He reflected on the journey from Dock 17 on Ceres Prime. What had started as a simple attempt to create a workshop had transformed into something unimaginable. He was no longer just a scavenger or an engineer. He was a pioneer, a human who had unlocked a ship that held secrets of the galaxy. And he had proven that one human could make a difference, even in a universe that had long forgotten them. The AI, observing Elias' progress, offered a final insight. Your species demonstrates qualities beyond expectation. Creativity, adaptability, and persistence, these will be your greatest weapons. Elias smiled, gripping the controls. He understood now. Humans did not need to match alien civilizations in numbers or raw power. They needed ingenuity, courage, and the will to act. And with this ship, he would show the galaxy exactly what humans were capable of. Stars stretched past the viewport, distant and cold, yet full of promise. The lost colonies awaited, secrets lay hidden and challenges loomed in the unknown. But Elias Wren, a human with nothing but his wits, courage, and determination, was ready. The ship's engines hummed. The AI's systems glowed. And a human, standing at the heart of a vessel built to guard civilizations, set a course for the stars, ready to reclaim humanity's place in the galaxy. The adventure was only beginning, but one truth was clear. Humans, underestimated for centuries, were capable of greatness beyond imagining, and Elias Wren would be the proof.